The Hermit's Path. Every life follows a path. Most people move through their days without thinking much about the small habits that guide them, the words they speak, the choices they repeat, the routines that quietly shape who they become. The Hermit's Path is a place to slow down and look at those small things. In this series, we explore simple ideas and practical steps that can help bring a little more awareness and intention into everyday life. Nothing complicated, just thoughtful ways to live a little more deliberately, one small step at a time. The quiet life they call boring. There was a time in my life when I thought silence meant I was missing something. I thought a meaningful life had to look loud, busy, full of plans and people and constant motion. I believed happiness was supposed to be exciting enough to impress somebody else. So I tried to become that version of myself. I said yes when I wanted to say no. I forced myself into rooms that drained me. I stayed connected to noise because I thought quiet meant failure. But the strange thing was this: the louder my life became, the farther away from myself I felt. I remember coming home exhausted after being around people all day and wondering why everyone else seemed energized by things that left me empty. I thought something was wrong with me because I wanted to be home more than I wanted to be out in the world. I wanted slow mornings instead of crowded weekends. I wanted peace more than attention. And for a long time, I treated that like a flaw. Now, now I understand something I wish I had understood years ago. Some of us were never meant to live noisy lives. Some of us come alive in quiet places. I find joy in things most people would probably overlook: a clean kitchen before sunrise, coffee slowly brewing while the dogs sleep nearby, rearranging a shelf for no reason other than it makes the room feel better, reading while rain hits the roof, folding laundry while soft music plays in the background. Nothing dramatic is happening in those moments. But something important is: I am present. That is something the world does not value nearly enough anymore. People are taught to chase constant stimulation, more plans, more movement, more updates, more urgency. We are surrounded by the idea that if your life is not exciting enough to post online, then maybe it is not meaningful at all. But I think a lot of people are exhausted from performing happiness instead of actually feeling it. The older I get, the more I realize peace is not boring. Peace is rare. There is something deeply healing about waking up without dread, about not needing chaos to feel alive, about enjoying your own company enough that silence becomes comforting instead of uncomfortable. That kind of quiet changes you, especially for people like us, for introverts, for solitary people, for those of us who spent years trying to survive environments that never fit our spirit. I think many queer people understand this on a deeper level than most. We spend so much of our younger years trying to become acceptable versions of ourselves that we sometimes lose touch with what actually brings us peace. We learn performance before we learn presence, and eventually some of us reach a point where we simply get tired. Tired of pretending, tired of noise, tired of trying to keep pace with lives that do not belong to us. That is when solitude stops feeling lonely and starts feeling honest. These days, my life moves slowly. I wake with the sunlight most mornings. I drink my coffee quietly. I spend time with my dogs. I work on small things around my space. I cook simple meals. I read. I think. I walk. I notice things. And maybe to somebody else that sounds boring. But to me, it feels like finally breathing correctly. There is safety in routine when the routine was chosen instead of forced upon you. There is comfort in familiar rituals when your nervous system spent years overwhelmed by noise and expectation. People underestimate how powerful small, peaceful moments can become when you stop rushing through them. Washing dishes at night because you know tomorrow morning will feel softer when the kitchen is clean. Opening a window during a cool morning and letting fresh air drift through the room. Watching the afternoon light slowly change across the walls. Sitting outside with your dogs while the world quiets down around you. These moments seem small from the outside, but from the inside, they become a life. I am no longer waiting for some louder future to finally begin living. I am not chasing a version of happiness that demands exhaustion as payment. I found something quieter than that, something steadier, a life that does not need constant validation to feel real. And honestly, I think many people secretly want this now. I think a lot of people are tired of the pressure to constantly perform excitement, I think many are beginning to crave slower mornings, softer lives, smaller circles, and deeper breaths. Maybe that desire is not weakness. Maybe it is wisdom. Maybe the people who seem boring from the outside are actually building rich inner worlds nobody else can see. And maybe that is enough. Maybe a quiet life filled with books, dogs, coffee, reflection, familiar rituals, and peace is not a life that failed to become exciting. Maybe it is a life that finally became honest. And if that is true, then I would rather live honestly than loudly every single time. Walking the hermit's path doesn't require dramatic change. Most of the time, it begins with something small: a new habit, a different way of thinking, or a simple choice made with a little more awareness. If something in this episode resonated with you, consider giving the video a like and sharing it with someone who might also appreciate the idea. And if you'd like to continue exploring simple ways to live more intentionally, be sure to subscribe and join me again along the hermit's path.